Hi everyone, it's Mr. T back again, and this time with a much requested documentary with advice on how to go about checking out or buying real estate here in Dominican Republic. As I have a lot of contacts on the north coast, and with this area being one of the most popular expat spots over here, then most of what you will see and learn about in this video will be about the towns of Puerto Plata, Sosua and Cabarete. Like anywhere globally, apart from the real estate pitfalls here, then when it comes to sourcing quality suppliers or obtaining solid advice on how to go about hundreds of different things here, well, this is where I offer my relocation advisory services. And with a simple email to my email address seen below, I'll be happy to send you my price plan with my affordable rates. However, the fountain of knowledge when it comes to checking out or investing in real estate here will be a gentleman called John Kornbluth, who's had 40 plus years in the real estate industry here, and he's going to enlighten us with his excellent knowledge. Alright folks, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to introduce you to probably one of the most knowledgeable real estate guys on the north coast. John, thank you very much again for being on video.
Not a problem.
You were in one of my very first documentaries sharing your knowledge there about the general life in Dominican Republic. This time it's real estate. And just before I start, John, I just wanted to tell the viewers that John can come in this video from a very unbiased angle because now you only dabble in beachfront properties, correct?
Correct.
So anything he says, especially regarding villas and condos down here, it comes very much from John's heart because he's a very helpful gentleman. I've learned that over time, and if you want to buy down here, he only wants the best for you. So let's get stuck into it. You've had over 40 years living here, and most of those years you've been in real estate or running real estate companies. Mm-hmm. So what are the biggest benefits that you see for folks to invest in real estate down here in Dominican Republic?
Well, to start off, there's a profit involved. The values go up over time. The value is good. The value is very good in the Caribbean, probably the lowest in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. So that's good for future selling and whatever. There's a good commercial sales point. There's
well, especially in the last 2 years, I've seen a lot of construction go on as well.
So, yeah, we're starting
and
to
a lot of new expats
sure.
coming in.
Yeah, we had a few bad years, slow years, but we usually get a couple years after the U.S. takes off, we follow behind, and that's what's happening. So it's taken off. There's been a lot of big investment here in the country right now on the North Coast. Yep. A lot of things happening.
Okay. More kind of specific questions like, what are the property taxes both for buying something, let's say you buy it under your private name, as well as if you buy it as a company?
I don't think there's any difference in buying it. Now, maintaining it over the years, it's pretty much the same as well. Usually when you purchase, it's about 3% of the sale price. And it's about 1% a year taxes, which is very, like, nothing.
But isn't that only if you own it in a company name? Like, if you buy it privately, then it's supposed to be only a one-off tax?
Depends on the value.
Okay.
I think over 7.5 million pesos, which is $150,000, you pay taxes. But we try to make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay. All right. Now, if the buyer plans to do business down here, does that then put them at greater risk owning something privately? Because if they were brought to court for any crazy reason and it's in their name, then people can
definitely
claim that.
It's definitely better to have a company. There's some costs involved with maintaining a company, around $350 to $500 a year, and it costs anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to form a company. However, a lot of people use it here for a lot of different reasons. Some is if they pass away, it's easier for the family to distribute their assets. Mm-hmm. They don't have to put into probate. There's no taxes involved as far as death taxes or anything like that. If you die here, there's a 30% probate tax, I think it is. That's one reason a lot of foreigners will use a company.
Okay. And what are the main pitfalls that folks have to avoid during the process of searching down here or buying something?
There's so many things involved. Probably the best thing I can say is, try to make sure that you have a knowledgeable real estate agent or someone who's in the business for a while, that's been here for a while, because we get a lot of new people here. A lot of people, you ask them, how long you been here? Oh, 3 years. But I was 12 years in the States or in Canada or in Europe, I was in real estate. But here, that means they know nothing. So you have to get also a knowledgeable, older attorney, someone that's been an attorney for at least 10 to 15 years minimum, that has a decent reputation. You can find out in a matter of a day if their reputation is good or not. And you have to put trust into them. Also, you can ask around a little bit. A few knowledgeable people in town, you can talk to them. Usually people are pretty good with the opinions. You have to be careful though, because if they had a problem with the person, then they're not going to talk nice about them. And sometimes you can ruin a reputation with somebody being nasty. So
yeah,
you have to be careful.
In terms of exclusivity, the real estate companies down here, do they typically want exclusivity, or is it all non-exclusive?
The realty companies would love exclusivity, but the majority of people here will, let's say a listing, they will list their property with everybody. There's no MLS, so the larger real estate companies have their own projects, which are naturally exclusive. Mm-hmm. But if you have a home you want to sell, you'll take it to all the agents and let them promote it on their websites. That's pretty much the way it is. It's very cutthroat here as far as competition, and so you have to be careful.
Commissions, I've heard people complain, they want such high commissions. Is there a specific reason why it's like 10% and all this kind of thing down here compared to Canada or places like that where it's maybe 3-4%?
Well, when we get a buyer here, I don't want to say it's a big deal, but it's worth more than normal. And usually foreigners are making the sales, so a standard 10% commission is standard. Now, if you get into the sale of a house or a condo, sometimes 6 or 7%. But the standard is 10%. The agents, the real estate companies ask for it, and usually there's a split between the broker and the agents. It could be the listing agent and the selling agent. So sometimes the one that's showing you the home and selling it to you is only going to make 25% of the commission. Mm-hmm. So for that reason,
they're higher.
We've made it that way over the years, although there's no rule of thumb. Commissions are all negotiable, and you can pay what you want.
Right, and to select the right realtors or agents, what should folks ask them up front to kind of screen them or pick the right one?
Experience. I think experience has a lot to do with it, reputation. Everybody wants to sell their product. Mm-hmm. And the larger real estate companies usually have their own projects, which is okay. The larger ones are probably doing fair business, so it's not like they're out to get you. But there's like 40 real estate companies here, and new ones opening every day. But people from Russia have no one to come to, so a Russian guy will open up a business, and then all the Russians will go to him. Mm-hmm. There's a number of Germans here because they've been here. Same with Europeans, Swiss, Italian, Spanish. You just have to be careful. Mm-hmm. You just have to be careful.
What's the story with house insurance down here? And
house insurance,
who should they go to?
It really depends on the person. If you're used to having insurance, then I would say then you should have insurance. There's a couple of good companies around. I know Universal is one that I've dealt with, and they're very good here. I don't know of a couple more. Probably some of the banks offer different insurance companies. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, it's not like the place is going to burn down. I mean, they're built like forts. Basically speaking, they're
no carpets, everything's
block.
tile.
It's all cement block with a poured roof. So that kind of stuff doesn't happen here.
Yeah, we hardly ever see the fire brigade.
Yeah, you don't see a fire. That's true.
What are the average price ranges of, say, land, villas, and condominiums?
Villas vary on the quality, same as condos, but generally a condo will be around $1,000 to $1,200 a meter inland, and then from there it goes up to the beachfront, which is around $2,000, $2,200 a meter. A meter is 10.76 square feet, so you can figure it out that way. So if you're talking $2,000, you're probably talking about $180, $200 a square foot, for people that don't know meters. And homes, probably a little less, maybe $800 to $1,200 a square meter, because you have the land involved, maybe a pool, maybe some extras, a lot of upgrades, different things like that. That's how it works.
Great. You seem to favor the North Coast. Why is that? Why is it better to invest up here, in your opinion?
Well, I've been here
other places?
for the whole time. It's been over 40 years, and I love the North Coast. I think the North Coast is one of the prettiest parts of the country. It's the most plush green part of the country. It gets rain like it is now, but not too much rain. Generally speaking, we have a fair amount of rain to keep everything nice and beautiful. The beaches are natural. We're on the Atlantic Ocean. We're not on the Caribbean Sea. That's a big difference too. And I can really say that we're hurricane-free so far.
Yeah. Well, also, I think access to beaches. I mean, when I was down in Punta Cana, good luck getting access freely to a beach without having to hand in your ID and go through a resort. Or
there's so many people down there. There's much more tourists there, much more people. On the South Coast, even the East Coast, it's a completely different game. We don't have here any projects where there's a fence around the project and then everything's done inside. They don't do that here. We're smaller, everybody's independent, everybody's doing their own thing. So you don't have that that feeling of all-inclusive. Although there are some resorts that are like that, we don't really have them like they do on the South Coast.
John, please just give a very fast pros and cons of the townships of Puerto Plata. Oh, that's a small city, actually. Sosua, Cabarete, Cabrera, Las Terrenas. What's the pros and cons?
Puerto Plata is the province of the North Coast, which includes Puerto Plata, the Amber Cove, cruise ship port, Maimon, Sosua, and Cabarete. Puerto Plata is more Dominican. There's more Dominican families in Puerto Plata.
Right.
There are expats, but because there's so many Dominicans, you don't notice it as well. Sosua was founded by German Jews in the Holocaust and is a special place. We have beautiful beaches, and it's a great atmosphere.
And a real mix of
This is
people
where
from
I've
all over
met
the
all
world.
the expats you want, all different, like just a melting pot of everywhere.
Yeah.
And Cabarete is more a beach town per se, because they have all the beach, aquatic sports and competition. I think one of the World Cup is in Cabarete sometime during the year for kite surf and windsurf.
Yeah.
So they're
Quentro Kite Beach and Cabarete Beach.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then Cabrera.
Well, Cabrera is up and coming. Cabrera is, there's a big project there, Playa Grande, that's been taken over by a group of, first they were from Jordan, a group, the Amman group, and now there's a new group that's out of St. Thomas. And they're supposedly redoing the 18-hole golf course again, and they're going to be upscale homes and condos built there, and that's being done now. So Playa Grande is up and coming. Las Terrenas is a different style altogether again. Las Terrenas is really laid back. Everything is beach, beach, beach. And I think more beach.
A lot of French and Italian people down there.
Yeah. It's a very laid back atmosphere. You can walk out probably 200-300 meters up to your knees, and it's just a different atmosphere altogether.
They have some other beaches, because in one of my videos I visited some places, and there seems to be a lot of wealthier Dominicans coming up from like Santo Domingo. They have their weekend or holiday.
Well, they've got a lot of projects in Las Terrenas now too. There's a lot of money being spent there too.
Yeah.
The whole North Coast is really coming up.
Yeah. When it comes to going out with real estate agents, is there things that kind of upset the real estate agents down here? Because I have heard of some of them getting grumpy with the prospects too, that they used my time, I took them out for dinner, they wanted me to go here, there, and the next thing they go with somebody else. Or what shouldn't they do?
It's very difficult to, the business is tough. The real estate business is tough. Mm-hmm. If you saw a piece of property with Century 21, but you went out with Remax and saw one with Remax and you liked the property with Remax better, you're going to go with Remax. I mean, you're not going to go back to Century 21 and say, hey, I want to buy this thing from Remax. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to see as many agents as you want. I think the problem is when a lot of agents who don't have a lot of experience, is probably one of the biggest problems is that they don't have enough experience. So they're acting the way they shouldn't act, but they don't know any better. Mm-hmm. That you're entitled to look as many properties as you want. So unless you're spinning someone's wheels, usually the agents should qualify you really well before they take you out. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's like, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Okay, let's go. And they're just like giving tours. Yeah. And when it's raining, a lot of times, a lot of the tourists just want to have a free tour. Let's go see what the values are. Let's go see what this is. Let's go see what that is. That's not cool. No. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, so people get upset.
Yeah. So, John, once the potential buyer finds a property that fits their needs and desires, what's the smartest way to go about negotiating and paying for this house or condo?
Well, if it's a normal real estate agency, the best thing to do is write up an offer. Usually everyone wants a deposit. With the deposit, with the real estate agency, at the beginning, I would say to make the check payable to the real estate company, and don't make it for 10% to start. Just make it for a small amount, $5,000, $3,000, $10,000, depending on the size of the deal. Mm-hmm. And just to start, just to show good faith.
Right.
Just to show good faith, and the majority of people will be fine. You don't want to have a problem starting off. So,
what are the specific steps to purchasing, and how smooth does it usually go down here?
Well, I always try to make it as simple like it is in the U.S. or Canada. I mean, we try to do the same thing: take a deposit, write up an offer, submit the offer with any counter offer, bring it back to the buyers, and see what goes on, and then maybe counter back to the sellers, and try and negotiate a deal, and then get it resolved and have everybody sign. And then go into the legal end of it, making sure that you have a good attorney and have the attorney check the title, make sure there's what they call a deslinde. The deslinde is a remarcation of the land, which gives you a new plot plan, a new parcel number, and a new title. Mm-hmm. About seven or 8 years ago, I think it was, the government made it mandatory for every piece of property to have it, to be sold, to be bought and sold. All the land has to be deslinde. In other words, have a remarcation, which is GPS, and it's the best way to go. So it's clearing up a lot of problems, but it's also causing a lot of problems that people didn't know they had problems. Wrong title, wrong property, all that stuff.
But that's getting better now.
It's all getting better. But it takes time. And then the attorney will usually go and check at the land title registry if the title is clear, and then also ask for a certification of clear title, which takes about 15 days.
And John, what are the typical things that they should check in regards to the property actually being foundationally strong, and that the electrics and plumbing's working, or other things? What can you recommend there that they inspect?
It's good to have general knowledge of what you're purchasing. In the event you don't, then you should have a good agent. Just check yourself. If you feel something's not right, then something's not right. To have the gut feeling of, feeling something if you do. Mm-hmm. If you don't, then you can put anything you want in the contract, subject to making sure all the plumbing works, subject to making sure the pump works. A lot of people don't even know here that a cistern and a pump is how you get water to the house. I had a woman client once that we were going to build a house for her, and we said we had to put a cistern and a pump in, and it was, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000. And she said, well, what do you mean, what a pump? I said, well, yeah, you have to get water to the house. Well, I just turn on the thing and the water comes. Yeah, but it doesn't work that way here. So
yeah, and many people have wells as well because they're
a lot of people have wells, but not in the outer areas. You know, more in the towns that are more modernized, let's say, developed. We have an aqueduct and we have water. If there's a drought or something, we can have problems with water as well. We have wells that we use to fill the cistern, and then the cistern pumps it to the houses.
Yeah. And then the electrical side, that's a whole different ballgame.
Well, electrical, yeah, standard 220, 110, 220. Same as the States or Canada. Or probably
but everybody uses inverters down here as well.
Yeah, but we're using them a lot less. The lights don't go off as much as they used to. I mean, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I have seen
a lot of people had big generators, and now they don't have them anymore, you know. So solar panels are the new thing, and they're supposedly working very well here with all the sun.
Yeah. Next question, what should they check in regards to neighbours, animals, noises and other potential hassles that weren't that apparent when they went there with the agent?
Well, I mean, just you have to do your due diligence and go by the property various times of the day or night. Maybe meet a couple neighbors or walk around the property a little bit and see how things are. You can tell, generally speaking, you can tell how people live just by seeing where they live, for instance, in their home. In the condo projects, depends on how many vehicles there are there. A lot of times, a lot of them are covered up and closed down. I mean, that means that people aren't here all the time. So there's a lot of different things you have to look at. You can basically put anything that's reasonable in the contract as far as subject to different items or things that you want to make sure are right.
Yep.
And also, some people sell as is, which means it may be a fixer-upper. There may be a problem with the pool, or there may be a problem with the roof or the flooring. You might have, come up or something. I mean, that happens too.
What about furnished and unfurnished?
It depends. It depends on anyone's likes, whether they like what they see or they want to get their own. And you can get anything you want here. Everything's available. It's not like it used to be. So there's really no reason to buy unless, it's not a problem and let's say your wife falls in love with all the furniture and everything. Just get your own stuff little by little. Buy your own stuff. It's expensive. Yep. But you can find it.
And does Dominican Republic allow non-resident investors to purchase down here?
Yes. You don't have to have residency to own a property here, or a company. The residency process has changed a lot over the years, so you get a temporary residency for a year, and then you have to renew again, like new, for the permanent residency.
Right. And what if somebody wants to invest in commercial property or small hotel? Is there any
difference? No difference. The best thing to do would be to form a company and then go in that way and have the company purchase the hotel and also manage the hotel. You may want to have another company managing it than one that's purchasing it. So you don't run the risk of having someone fall down and break their leg and sue you. You have a management company that manages it, one company, and then you have another company that owns the property, and you keep them separate.
Great. What advice would you give on picking the right lawyer? And what tricks can those lawyers get up to down here that
lawyers.
cause heartache?
My wife's a lawyer, so I am kind of biased to my wife. But there are good lawyers here, and there are bad lawyers here. I can only give you a handful of good lawyers on one hand.
What would be some of the warning signs if they're suddenly talking to a bad lawyer?
Some of the warning signs that are just off the top of my head are not returning your calls, not complying with any commitments. If they said they'd have it for you on Tuesday and then they're not in the office on Tuesday, that can be a warning sign. A warning sign. It doesn't have to be a death sign, but it could be a warning sign. And just basic things like this. Like I'm saying, I think it's a gut feeling again. If you feel something's not right, the best lawyers sometimes have other issues or things, or they forget an appointment, or with a lawyer, talk to other people. Everybody has their lawyer, and it's very difficult to refer a lawyer to people unless you really trust them and you know that they're good, because a lot of them don't have experience, a lot of them don't have money, and so they're just out to get you, and you have to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And how long does the purchasing process usually take?
I would say 30 to 90 days for closing, depending on a lot of issues, having to do with the title, having to do with money, funding, transferring, contracts, acceptance. You know, we run into so many different problems from people.
Yep. And how many sellers accept split payments?
A smart business person will accept, let's say, a number of payments over a year or 6 months. Other people, owner financing, will carry back financing. Some will give title and carry back financing. Others will keep the title and give financing. We used to do it by keeping the title and give the people a conditional sales contract. But now the laws have changed to a point where you can actually give them the title and put your lien on the back, as they say. You can lien the title. And the court system is working in a way where it works.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And what about those who might want a mortgage to pay it off? Is that possible, or do you have to be a resident?
I would say owner financing only, or private financing. Banks here are a big problem. Not saying you can't get a loan, but you might be looking at 6 months.
And do you have to be a resident to get a mortgage?
I think so, but it's not 100%. No, I don't think you have to be a resident. No.
Okay.
You just have to show all your bank information from wherever you come from.
And how long should people rent for before they jump in and buy something?
I'm not one that believes that someone should rent before they buy. But usually, if you get the feel of the area, you like the area, but you're not sure about buying, then I would say a minimum of 6 months.
Well, most people I hear that buy down there, they've come a few times visiting, and then they get to the point where it's just like, hey, I like it
here.
here.
To move. Yeah, because moving here is one thing. Coming here and coming and going is something else.
Yeah. John, super duper good information, and I'm sure the viewers, they will enjoy learning all these things. So thank you so much again, and give yourself a little shout out. What do you sell here? You sell beachfront property?
I sell beachfront properties. Check out my website, DominicanBeachfrontProperties.com. And we have all sizes on the North Coast. We will finance. They all have this lien name clear title.
John, take care, and thank you very much again.
Anytime.
All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed John's knowledge, and we'll also have some very short interviews with a few other people later in the video. But for now, let's go house hunting just to break it up a bit, and let's start with something big, and that's a luxury villa about 5 to 7 minutes drive out of Sosua heading towards Cabarete. Alright folks, I've shot 5 minutes out of Sosua to a gated community called Perla Marina, where a gentleman is selling his big luxury villa for $1,680,000. His name's Ludwig, and he's going to give us a tour of it now. Here we go. Alright, I'm here with Ludwig. Thanks for letting us in to have a look at your house.
You're welcome.
Now, how big is this house, Ludwig? How many bedrooms?
6 bedrooms.
That's a big villa.
It's a big villa. It's a total of 680 square meters. I built it myself. It's my design actually as well, together with a Belgian architect. And it's 8 years old now.
May I ask why you're moving?
Well, I'm selling it to the private reasons. I'm all alone for the moment right now, and this house is just way too big for me alone, so I'd rather sell this one and get something new, which is more to the size that I actually need for the moment.
Yeah, and what's the community like to live in here?
Oh, it's very quiet, you know, ocean front, absolutely no traffic noises, just the waves breaking here on the beach. That's the only sound you're going to hear here. So it's very good living here.
Yeah. And any other features that you want to mention before we do the quick tour?
Everything is, you know, down to the highest standards. The guy I built the house with is European. It's not Dominican built. It's a very, very, very good construction. There has been no spare of money on materials and quality of the house. So you can see for yourself. Let's have a look around.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay,
Cheers.
maybe we can start outside. You can see the garden with what is called more than an oversized swimming pool.
It is absolutely spectacular here. Got the ocean right in front of his property.
This is bar outside with bathroom inside and all the utilities to the swimming pool.
Ludwig, he's got SosuaGameFishing.com, so if you need to go game fishing, he's your man too. You're getting some free advertising there with your shirt. And we're just taking a quick peek down to the beach. You got a pathway here. Where does that lead to?
This leads to a rock with a spectacular view all the way to Puerto Plata, which is actually also mine. The only thing is, by Dominican law, you cannot close it, although I paid for it. Mm-hmm. All the land here, all the way up to the ocean, is actually mine. But you have to let public access to all the beaches in the Dominican Republic, so you cannot close it.
Right.
But the only people who walk by here, because there's a lot of security and everything here, so actually are tours with horses and stuff like that.
All right. So let me just swing the camera around here, folks. And that's his property right in here behind the trees, right down to the rocks. You got beaches over there. Absolutely spectacular. Now let's take a look at the dining room here. You can certainly fit a lot of people. And nice big kitchen.
Yeah, it's an open space kitchen with all the appliances. Dishwasher, imported stove, very important here. As a lot of people know, stuff you buy here, they rust right away. This has been standing here for 8 years now, has not a single dot of rust. That is a Smith, cost several thousands of dollars. That's mostly of all the things that are imported. Mm-hmm. I don't believe too much here in the market to buy stuff.
All right. It makes sense. If you want quality, you've got to sometimes hunt for it. So this is the lounge. It's a very open space. So if you like parties, you got all the doors that can open up, and you can roll straight out onto the terrace, out to your pool out there.
The entrance of the house is actually the most spectacular part of the whole house. When you come here, then you see this staircase just in front of you. It's absolutely, for me, it's actually one of the most beautiful spaces of the house.
It's almost like it was on the Titanic, except this is on solid rock. You won't be sinking anywhere here.
So here this mirror actually very spectacular when you come up the staircase. So this is imported also. That is a mirror from an ancient castle in my country in Europe, which I imported. I imported almost everything here. So as you can see, it's very beautiful.
Absolutely. Little look down the staircase. And now we're entering one of the master bedrooms. Air conditioners. How many air conditioners in the house?
6. Every bedroom has its own air conditioning, so this is closet, walk-in, which is a closet.
Plenty of space.
Here you have the master bathroom. Actually, the size of most bedrooms here are smaller. separate toilet for your privacy, jacuzzi, shower with view of the ocean. So doors, you see they have mosquito screens. Another same size bedroom. Only the bed, this is what it's called, caoba, mahogany. But real mahogany. I invite anybody who thinks he's a very strong man just to lift up one of these pieces of wood. I'm not talking about the bed, I'm talking about a piece of wood of this bed. This is real caoba, the real thing. Okay, so then you have two more bedrooms upstairs, here also always king-size beds. Bathroom same size as this one, and two more bedrooms downstairs. You know, so here you have one, and then you have another one, which the entrance is here on the living. Which actually, if you want, you can make an office out of it. What I used to do, used to be my office, but now for rental conditions, I made it into a bathroom, into a bedroom, so that is easy taken away. Mm-hmm. So that's a complete open space again to have your own office or whatever.
Excellent. Now, Ludwig, should they want to invest in this property as an investment to rent it out, what kind of rentals can they hope to get from it?
Yeah, well, in the high season you can count at least at $10,000 revenue monthly, and in the low season goes up to $7,000-8,000 a month that it brings here. This is, you know, a very beautiful house. It's very famous here. If you want to rent it now, you're going to have to wait, have to take your turn till the end of May before I have one weekend open. So imagine, this is very, very, very good.
Good rental investment property as well. Excellent. And there's only, 7-8 minutes drive to Cabarete and 5 minutes to Sosua?
Yeah, approximately.
And to the airport about 10-15 minutes. Okay.
So you can count on all the utilities as a backup generator, fully automatic, has a alarm system, camera surveillance, automatic gates, automatic garage doors, everything, just foreclosure.
Cool. All right, so we've had a tour of Ludwig. Thank you very much for the tour, and we're going to place contact details at the bottom here. And don't be shy to reach out, guys and girls. With me here, ladies and gentlemen, I have Matt Pellegrino, who you've seen in a few of my documentaries before. Thank you, Matt, for being on camera again.
Always my pleasure, Mr. T.
Matt, the reason I wanted you in the video is because you're an expat here for how long?
3.5 years.
And yeah, you're not a real estate agent, and that means you can give unbiased advice to the viewers. What advice would you give anybody who's coming down here considering to invest in either land, a condo, or a villa?
Well, I think there's some opportunities to be had down here. I think a lot of it is, and you probably will hear this over and over again, you know, the important thing is here to make sure that you have a correct title and a great lawyer. Those will probably be battle cries you'll hear constantly here. Very important to have. But other than that, I think a lot of it is just to make sure that you're getting something for your value. The real estate market here is not like back in North America, where properties appreciate really rapidly. Down here, they don't know how to appreciate so much, but that doesn't mean that they're not worth buying. They are. You can still buy and get great deals down here, but I think you have to do your due diligence, make sure that you're in a great location, and that you're, you know, basically like back at home, have the house inspected and make sure that you're not buying, unfortunately, someone's disaster.
What are the prices as far as you know in terms of condos and houses?
I think you can get condos down here. You know, studio and one bedrooms anywhere from 30 to 50, 60,000. The one bedrooms, 60 and beyond. Of course, houses. You can. I think personally for me, what I have looked into and haven't purchased yet, but I'm still looking, is that you can get a property on its own private location, and that way you're not paying a condo fee, and you can get more bang for your buck that way, I feel. Just again, make sure you find a secure location and someplace you feel comfortable with.
Excellent. Okay, any other final advice?
I would just say, I think down here sometimes properties stay on the market for quite a while, so just do your due diligence and don't be afraid to make an offer that you think may be a little bit low, but eventually you meet up somewhere in the middle. I know back home a lot of times where we don't really kind of, I guess the word lowball on housing, and here you can start that way, but eventually you meet somewhere in the middle, and I think you can, the buyer and seller can both be happy that way.
Right. Thank you very much, Matt. Great words, and all the very best for you. And give yourself a shout out. You're here in the Las Palmeras Hotel.
We are inside the Las Palmeras Hotel, poolside, Midtown Sosua restaurant. We have breakfast, lunch, dinner. We love to have everyone come in and say hello. We look forward to meeting everyone.
Cheers. Take care.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks. Guys and ladies, we've got Mr. Traveller himself on the camera here.
What's
now,
that?
you've moved to Puerto Plata.
I did.
What advice would you give anybody who's thinking of settling out in Puerto Plata?
I love Puerto Plata. Puerto Plata is a little bit more normalcy. Sosua, I love Sosua. That's why I'm back here today. But it's too busy. And sometimes when you're living here on a staycation versus a vacation, it gets a little grinding. So, Puerto Plata offers you a little bit more normalcy.
It's like a self-sustaining economy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's more like, I would say, middle-class Dominican. So even the prices, like even right there along the casetas on the Malecon, you're not going to get jacked in the head. It's Dominican prices, local prices. I mean, you go out 6 people and get drunk for $26.
So one of the popular areas is Torre Alta.
Yes, very hot area.
What can you tell me about that?
Torre Alta is really nice. I mean, it's a very nice area. A lot of people, matter of fact, a lot of Dominicans, with serious money. That's why I tell everybody, don't think every Dominican is broke. But a lot of expats living up there, a lot of American expats, a lot of Canadian expats are living up there. And even right down from Torre Alta, right along that Malecon, you see a lot of different expats. As a matter of fact, we meet up, there's a group of us, about 14, 15, that meet up every Sunday at Be Live on their resort, man, for lunch and just discuss, the gringo factor and try to give each other good advice. So but Torre Alta is good. Right there on the Malecon where I live is pretty nice, and the places in between. You don't want to go too far down past Torre Alta because then you're kind of getting away from everything.
Torre Alta is also a little bit like a mountain. It's climbing up Mount Isabella.
It is.
And you have an awesome view from up there, correct?
You do have an awesome view. You got a lot of, look, what I call mansions built in Torre Alta. Just huge homes are built in Torre Alta. But you got a lot of older, smaller homes too. So you get paid anywhere from, like, I would say $400 to, $1,500 a month.
Fantastic. All right, thank you very much for being on camera.
No problem.
Good pointers. See you later.
All right.
All right, folks, I'm sure you enjoyed listening to both Matt and to TaylorMade's comments. Now we're going to look at some different prices of real estate down in the area here. Let's first talk about villas. Here in Dominican Republic, they build the homes very solid, usually with cinder block, lots of rebar, concrete and tiled floors. So mostly you will end up with a very rugged home that keeps cool on hot days and stays warm inside in the rainy season. Prices can of course vary depending on a variety of factors like whether you invest in town or if you invest in the hills or out in the countryside, if you want ocean front or how many rooms or bathrooms it's got, if it's got a pool, the size of the property, the age and condition of the place, whether it's furnished or unfurnished, and whether it's in a gated community with various existing infrastructures or if you're totally independent from other neighbors providing everything yourself. However, I'll give you guys a rough idea now of what the asking prices can typically be, Yet these figures are neither accurate or set in stone, as everything can vary from seller to seller and what is finally negotiated between the parties. The asking prices here for a 2-bedroom home with a pool can typically be between $100,000 and $200,000. The asking prices here for a 3 to 4 bedroom home with a pool can typically be between $150,000 and up to $400,000 plus. And the asking prices here for a 5 to 10 plus bedroom home with a pool can range from $450,000 to several $1 million. Yet in this category, the area, supreme views, and many different amenities, recreational toys and add-ons can have a big impact on the asking price as well. Folks here sometimes sell their places fully furnished and include their cars, motorbikes, jet skis, and even their security dogs. So there's definitely something here for everybody's needs, likes, and budgets. Alright, just while we enjoy watching a few recreational clips, I just want to give you an idea on the options of investing in condominiums over here as well. Currently here on the North Coast, I see apartment buildings being constructed all over the place. So for those of you who decide to invest in a condo, then there's certainly a great variety of places and options. To help you locate some of these places, you'll find a section in my documentary called Weapons, Safety and Security, where I take you around to the gates of several complexes, even showing you the contact details on the gates. So check this video out when you get a chance. When it comes to prices, then again it can vary based on many factors, and prices can start from as low as $40,000 and right up to $300,000 plus. Alright folks, before we wrap things up here, we should just quickly touch on land as well, because there might be a few of you guys that are contemplating building down here, and make sure you hire me for at least an hour or two of consultancy, because I can save you a lot of heartache, headache and money and steer you in the right direction if you want to construct. Anyway, I'm going to present a guy now called Dario, and he's been selling land down here for quite a while. So let me just get him on the screen.
This is approximate and
As Dario and I had a few noise interruptions, then I instead chose to do a quick recap here of what I learned from him about land prices. He mentioned that if you're looking in a rural area or suburbs for a smaller lot, then you can expect to pay about $20 to $25 per square meter. And if that is oceanfront or in a popular gated community, then it'll range between $55 and $80 per square meter. So as you've seen through this video, if you're looking for oceanfront, then you need to get hold of me so we can get you hooked up with John Kornbluth. And if you're just looking for land in general anywhere in the country, then Dario, he's your man. So just reach out to info@educatedtraveler.info and we'll get you hooked up with either of these two gentlemen. Alright folks, that wraps it up for this time, so thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that the information that we got from the guests in this video is going to help you invest safely and wisely down here. Also, it's very wise to take 1 or 2 hours at least of consultancy with me, because an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So I can help you save a lot of grief, heartache, headache and money simply by you getting together with me and presenting your list of questions. So send me an email to info@educatedtraveler.info if you're keen, and I'll send you my price plan. Alright, take care, please subscribe, tick like and refer my channel to other people. Happy travels. Bye bye.